PMacMovies back for another PMacMovies. Just a talk. I would say it's a coffee talk, but I'm out of coffee. I just made a couple haul videos. I wasn't planning on making another video. Actually, my phone that I record the videos on is full, so I couldn't do it with that one. But I just wanted to talk about some things about what's going on and things like that. These videos always get quite a bit of criticism and arguing and things like that. Which I don't mind people sharing their perspective on things, and I don't think it's a high. I tend to think that most people are good, and they're coming from a place of they want to do the right thing, but people defer on what's the right thing and what isn't. I don't think that usually people come from a place of hatred, or most people, and there are people that do. And I gotta be careful about the words I use in this, because you can get your video flagged by talking about certain things using certain keywords. But somebody made a comment in my video, and it's a comment that I feel is kind of coming from a place of hatred and of spite and of anger. And it's something about, what's the word I want to use? So it's focused on, oh, you're going to have to get the vax coming up. You're going to have to get the vax. And obviously this is a person that knows that I'm not interested in getting that. I think that we'll call that the V word. And the V, it's taught to us when we're young. And I remember being in 5th grade, and I might have talked about this I think I did in another video, I'm saying that, these horrible diseases were stopped because of these V's that came out that these great doctors created. Now, that's a version of history. We have no way to really know that. We're just going by what we're told. And, these history buffs will say, yes, there's history, we don't have any firsthand knowledge of these things. So we're just taking people's word for it. And there's no real evidence to back it up if you look into it more, if you look into it further. There's also a lot of accounts to it that when these V's came out, when these doctors created these companies or whatever, that a lot of people got very sick and died from them. So there's a lot of conflicting information. So it comes down to what have you seen in your life? What have you learned? What makes sense? And I take a look at nature a lot. I take a look at nature to decide for myself what makes the most sense, even from a spiritual perspective, what makes the most sense. As far as what would our Creator, as far as how would they make us, and how are our bodies are really a spectacular thing. That's another thing. Do you look at the perspective of our bodies are flawed and they're messed up, and they're a very mechanical perspective of our bodies? Or do you look at our bodies from a positive perspective of they have great healing ability, which they absolutely do. There's so much evidence that shows that our bodies heal themselves if given the proper things, the proper nutrients, the proper sleep. You take care of yourself properly. Your bodies have great healing capabilities themselves. You don't need to inject something to heal them. But to put it out there that, to kind of rub it in that you're going to have to get this. It's what? I just wonder, have I come at people in a way? I don't feel that I've come at people in a way that that leads to me deserving like a hateful remark that you should get something I mean, what is it when you get something put in you that you don't want in you? What is that? It's considered one of, if you think about it that way, it's considered one of the worst possible things, one of the most vile things that somebody could do to somebody else. But in this instance, it's something where there's a viewpoint that people should be forced to get something put into their body that they don't want in their body. And to a lot of people, to a fair amount, that's okay to have that thing, and the government should be able to mandate that and everything else. It's really, if you get down to it, it's messed up and it's sick, but you're not going to be able to talk those people into it. Whether you believe in this V or not, and what they've come out with here recently, whether you believe in that or not, do you feel like people should be forced to get it directly into their bloodstream? Do you know what it is to put something directly into somebody's bloodstream? And it bypasses all the natural barriers that we have. It bypasses going through our liver, being filtered by our liver. So if you get something injected into you that is not something that you would want in your body, and it's bypassing all those natural things, you kind of want to be sure that it's something that's not harmful to you. I just trust these pharmaceutical companies and these corporations. They never do anything bad to anybody. They love us. They want us to be safe and healthy, and the G has never been bad to anybody. They've never done anything bad to people. Big Pharma's never done anything. Well, why would they want to do that? That's always what you get back to is, why would they want to do anything harmful to people? Like you think you can figure out their motives. And I mean, actually, from a perspective of just the mainstream narrative, it's already like you kind of already know that they're not looking out for you. But it's always like, well, why wouldn't they? Like, why would they want to do that? But if you take a look at how the whole system works, it's obvious that they don't have your best interests at heart if you look at it from an honest point of view. And I've talked about it in the other videos. Is it so sinister that they want to put bad stuff directly into your bloodstream and all those sort of things? And it gets, you're just being paranoid. You're just a conspiracy person. They start putting you in boxes rather than actually looking at, they do this that doesn't seem like it helps people and it makes people's life more difficult. They do this that makes people's life more difficult. They only allow certain treatments for health problems, and those treatments don't really seem to help. Have you done any research on that? I've done thousands of hours of research on it. But it's like people they just trust, they don't do any, they just read like maybe mainstream articles, mainstream books, which I've read the mainstream stuff. I've seen the mainstream stuff. I've got the mainstream education, and I've looked at the other side. And I can tell you, I make a personal decision that I don't want that in my body. So why and other people have also, people are concerned about this. They're just paranoid. They're crazy. They're conspiracy nuts. They're tinfoil hat wearers. Let's just put them in a box so that we don't have to, take a look at their points and, take a look at what they actually say and kind of break it down. Do I take a personal offense when people say something that's that hateful? No, I don't. But I think it's, when you look at it, and I know a lot of people have that viewpoint, it's really sad in a way that people have that viewpoint, that they're on board with that. And just that, like I've said in the other videos, we can't, there's just certain people you can't even have a discussion with them. If you share your viewpoint, it's like, well, you're spreading this and other people might pick it up and it's dangerous and it's this and that. I think, you know, the mainstream narrative is very blatantly more dangerous, and it's hitting a lot more people, and it's literally brainwashing a lot more people. But if you have the argument against what that narrative is, you're the dangerous one. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about this, and it gives me means to put you down, to say bad things about you, to put you in a box, to put you in a category. And the thinking there is just, there's no like proper even defense for it to these people, because they have their minds made up, and then they'll come back and say, well, you have your mind made up, and you're brainwashed, and you're this and you're that. You're never going to get them to see anything. You're never going to make any progress with these people. And again, they'll say the same thing about you, but they don't really get that you see both sides to the argument. I see what their argument is. I understand what that narrative is. I've looked into it. I've researched it. I understand both sides. I've been on the other side. I've been on the other viewpoint. And you don't go over to this side like to see that it's all BS. You don't go over on this side and then go back to the regular point of view. And there's a reason why you don't. I don't know. I guess I've already kind of said everything that can be said. I think the point of making this video was just that, like, why do people have to get nasty about it? I don't understand why people have to get nasty about it and hateful about it and spiteful about it and say things, personal things. Like it becomes a personal thing directed at you in particular, rather than what you're saying and what your argument is. It becomes about you. You're crazy. You're messed up. You have a mental problem. This and that. It almost always with these people starts getting directed at you personally rather than what you think about it and what your points are. Focusing on what your points are and your point of view. It's you. There's something wrong with you, and that's what the focus becomes. And that's, if you take a look at like the mainstream narrative and the Gov's narrative and all this, that's how they've conditioned people to be. Where if somebody has these type of thoughts, focus on their character, focus on them. They have a mental problem. They are a conspiracy person. They're a tinfoil hat wearing person. They're this, they're that. So their arguments against that person and their personal attacks against that person is actually something that's been basically implanted in their mind, and they bring it out when somebody has beliefs outside the box. They already have that stuff programmed into them. Those personal attacks are programmed into them to carry out on the person. And it's like they don't even have control over it. It's like a dog who like just attacks. It's like, it's just boom. They're programmed to do it. It's like in their genes. It's like in them. And it's sad. It's messed up to see. And I feel like you're never going to be able to talk somebody out. You're never going to be able to, even years from now, if it's, proven that a certain, these crazy conspiracy theories were true, they're never going to say sorry. They're never going to come to the realization that, man, I was really wrong about that. And I've come to that realization several times in my life. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. Is you say, man, I look back at when I was 18, when I was 20, when I was 22, and my beliefs, they were whacked and they were programmed into me and they weren't right. They are messed up. These people that see things, that way, that put people down, stuff like that, these people, they're never going to get it. They're never going to come back and say, I was wrong about that. I apologize. I thought things through, and it's just never going to happen. They're never going to see the other side, and that's going to be like their whole lives. Whereas before, maybe I saw things from their perspective, and I said a lot of things that were not right back then when I was in college, and I thought a lot of things that just weren't true. It weren't really how it was. And now I can see, that perspective that I had then, that was wrong. And that's why I've been able to change it over the years, because I've been able to take in different information, conflicting information, and take a look at the different angles, the different sides, and realize, man, I was young, I was clueless, I was, taking in this stuff from college and stuff like that, stuff from movies, and it was wrong. It was totally wrong, and it was totally brainwashing tactics from all angles. And some people can do it. Some people can take in new information and realize that their beliefs were mistaken, were wrong. They can humble themselves to do that. Some people just can't. It doesn't matter how in their face it is. Things are out there now. If you look into things, if you research things are pretty in your face now. So, I guess that's all I really wanted to say for this video. I do appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your feedback, as long as it's, and you can have different points of view, as long as it's, you're not doing the put downs and the stuff like that. There's no need for it. Why do you need to put other people down to make yourself feel better? And I know, when you're a teenager, when you're in school, I remember times I did that to people, but it's like, I feel like I've grown up enough that I don't have to sit around bashing people, this and that, putting people down, stuff like that. Do I ever do it still? Maybe here and there a little bit, but I've definitely improved on it over the years. There's no real need for it. If you think somebody's wrong, if you disagree with somebody, putting them down it doesn't accomplish anything. The personal attacks, it doesn't accomplish anything. You gotta mature, you gotta grow up, be respectful. So I look forward to hearing from people, and I do appreciate the feedback, the comments, and all those things. If you agree with what I'm talking about, please hit the thumbs up, because on these videos you got a lot of people who come and hit the thumbs down and stuff like that. It is what it is, but take a look in the description section for ways that you can help out PMacMovies if you do appreciate these videos and things like that. These videos don't make the channel grow. My channel's basically stopped growing once it got to like 2,000 or whatever. I see, a lot of channels are passing me by and stuff. But these videos, I think these ones are important to do and talk about. They don't help the channel or whatever, but I feel like they're important to make. So I make. We'll see you guys next time on PMacMovies.